So today's lesson is just going to be dealing with similarity proofs. So since triangles are polygons, we can prove two triangles similar if we can show that they satisfy the two necessary conditions required of similar polygons. And those necessary conditions are basically saying to you that all pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. And the other one says, and the one that we use also is going to be that the corresponding sides are in proportion. So there are three ways to prove similar triangles. There's AA similarity, there's SSS similarity, and SAS similarity. But we're really going to just be dealing with this, the AA similarity in the proofs. So when you do similarity proofs, a lot of the old reasons show up, and then some reasons that we don't use so often show up as well. Look back at your old reasons. Vertical angles show up all the time. Alternate interior angles will show up often. Remember, with alternate interior angles, you must have had parallel lines. Some ones that we haven't used that often are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles still come from parallel lines. So that's going to start showing up. You'll also start talking about how if you've got similar triangles that you've got sides that are proportional, there's going to be some other things that you're going to see. Okay, so not a lot of old reasons creep up, but some do, and then some new reasons will show up as well. The first proof is going to be this one. It's going to say, all right, well, BD bisects triangle, I'm sorry, BD bisects angle ABC, BD is perpendicular to AC, and you want to prove these triangles congruent to one another. We want to get ADB, which is this guy right here. We want this guy to be similar to CDB, which is going to be this triangle right here. Again, we already said before that you're dealing with AA similarity. We're looking always or almost always for two congruent angles. Once we have that, we know we're done. So let's see what kind of proof we can create here. Eleni, by the way, this is for you. Alrighty. So we've got BD line segment bisects angle ABC. We know that's true because it's given. If we look for angle ABC, that's up here at 3 and 4. So then we can say angle 3 is congruent to angle 4, and that's because the definition of an angle bisector. We've used that given, and then the next given that we need to work with is line segment BD being perpendicular to line segment AC. Well, perpendicular lines form congruent right angles. That's an old reason. Perpendicular lines form congruent right angles. Where are those right angles? Oh, there they are. They're at 1 and 2. So that's what statement 4 is going to be. Angle 1 congruent to angle 2. Well, now you have your angle-angle similarity. You have two pairs of congruent angles. There's your AA similarity, and that means that what they've asked you to prove, triangle ADB, must in fact be similar to triangle CDB. That's the first proof. Not so crazy. Second proof. You've got this triangle ABC. You've got D being a point of AB and E being a point of AC, so that DE and BC are parallel to one another. So these guys happen to be parallel to one another. They want you to prove that segment AD over segment AB is equal to segment AE over segment AC. If you look at those particular line segments, you should see that the tops of the fractions, right? If I look at AD and AE, that actually forms a triangle up here. And then the bottoms of the fraction, AB and AC, form this bottom triangle. Those are the triangles they want you to prove similar. We're looking for angles that are congruent, two pairs. Well, we need to use that parallel line piece to help us out. They're giving it to you for a reason. So there's a lot of stuff in the givens, but what's really most important is that this line segment is parallel to that. So we've got given DE and BC. Well, in this case, parallel lines are forming corresponding angles that are congruent. In other words, angle 1 and angle 2 are corresponding angles, or the same position, the same side, as are angles 3 and 4. Those are also corresponding. And because of the parallel lines, those guys are congruent, and those guys are congruent. So we can say, and we've now actually found those two angles, that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, as well as angle 3 being congruent to angle 4, both from the same reason that parallel lines form congruent corresponding angles. That's enough to get you down to triangles being similar, yellow and green. Just one thing to note, you also have a reflexive angle. If you didn't see it already, it's right here at A. So just so you know that you could have snuck in place of one of the correspondings, you could have snuck in angle A is congruent to angle A. By vertical angles are congruent. Just another option. Most people probably go for two pairs of correspondings, and there's your AA. Some people will do one pair of corresponding with the vertical, I'm sorry, with the, yes, that's not, scratch that. Hopefully you guys caught that that was a nice big mistake. This is not vertical angles are congruent. Not at all. This is reflexive. Sorry about that. Okay, so hopefully you caught that already. So what I was trying to say before is that some people will go for both pairs of corresponding angles, or somebody might go for one corresponding angle to one reflexive. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is, once you have two angles that are now congruent, you have similar triangles. So we're going to call yellow triangle ADE, and it's similar to the green triangle, which is ABC. And again, it's because we had two pairs of congruent angles, or AA similarity. Once you've got triangles that are similar, you know that similar triangles have proportional sides. And that's exactly what you were trying to prove, that AD is to AB as AE is to AC. These are proportional sides, and that's the end of your proof. Okay, so there you have it. This next one, we're going to cross it out. We don't do narrative proofs anymore, so feel free to just kind of get rid of this thing. Okay, our proofs are all done formally or informally, not as narratives, not as paragraphs. All right, so that's it. So hopefully you are good to go and your homework can be completed. Good luck. Good luck.